everybody? We're back, but first and foremost, Pim has something to say.
We're going straight into it. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. If you guys haven't heard, this weekend there is a big community event called X-Wing Extravaganza going on, where a bunch of different people in the community are streaming games and discussions and podcasts and painting and a bunch of whole fun stuff all about X-Wing. We're going to be celebrating X-Wing all weekend long. If you type xwing.life into your search bar, you will see the schedule. It is organized by our good friend Louis or Utini from Putini, the guy who makes all the great community prize kits and stuff. Also helped hook up Greg with the guy who made the metal challenge coins for season 3.
Louis,
but highly recommend checking it out. I'm actually going to be streaming tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to do about an hour, maybe a little bit more. But I'm going to show you guys how to paint Luminar's Jedi Delta 7. I'm going to be painting it on stream, giving some tips, explaining my process, and might be giving it away at the end of stream. Tune in to find out. But it should be a fun time. Again, it's going to be a full weekend of X-Wing content. I highly recommend checking that out if you guys are interested and free. But that's the only thing I want to pitch. Anyways, back to regularly scheduled draft league.
It's funny, I just had Andrew Kuba just called me while you were talking about getting our podcast set up on the other platforms. It's just kind of well-timed that I didn't have to worry about saying anything. Yeah, I fully support the X-Wing Extravaganza. If you notice, like, our name's not on there. It's there isn't really, I am not opposed to Extravaganza at all. But if you guys want me to be, I'm gonna always be honest with y'all. The reason why our name's not on there is just because of my position in association with those who are close to Atomic Mass Games, and also just kind of the confusion around Tabletop Simulator these days. So I just, I'm supporting it as much as I can while not, directly being involved. So
perfectly. That's again perfectly fine. Where the whole notion here isn't like it's not a protest or like a whatever like thing. It's just we're gonna be celebrating X-Wing as best we can this weekend and having a great time doing it.
And X-Wing is a great game and deserves celebration. So
yeah, and it'll be fun. It's a great community thing. I think we'll all have a good time. So
absolutely. Let me get the intro in for the right side as we can break down our lists, and then we can get back to talking about the extravaganza. So representing on the left side, his own team, he's team captain of the 5 straight boosts. We've got Michael Shively. Good stuff. Michael is, of course, taking the L, and by the L, I just mean he's taking the faction that isn't as good, but fun is always fun, Scum. And then on the right side, representing Scum as well for the Raada Wanderers, captained by Brendo. There is the Wanderers. They're wandering around like no other. Which list would you like to take?
Oh, let's see. I will take. You went first last time. I'll go first this time. Cool. I'll do the left.
Go for it. Let me open up Betty.
We've got, like you said, it is Mr. Michael Shively. Shively, right? Mr. Michael Shively. Also in Atlanta. He's flying Scum, as is Mike Chorney, of course. But Mr. Shively is flying Lee Mackay in the Y-Wing with plasma torpedoes and seismic charges. Great little 3-point ship right there. Victor Hell in the Kirax Fighter, a extended ship we get to see thanks to Draft League. He's rocking cutthroat, overtuned modulators, and false transponder codes. Next is our biggest Trandoshan friend, Bosk, with marksmanship and expert handling. He's chosen not to go for the DMS build because he's, I think, got a few too many ships to make himself feel comfortable with that. Next is Manaru with expert handling, Gar Saxon Gunner, Contraband Cybernetics, Punishing One, and R5P8. And finally, bringing up the rear is big old Dr. Afra in the YV666.
She's popular,
the
man.
Jamming Beam. She's great. I think it's 6 points with, I don't know how much loadout she has, but enough. She's a great little ship. But she's got Jamming Beam, Lambda Calrissian, 000, BT-1, Contraband, Babu Frick, Electronic Baffle, and the title. The title does allow her to have Bosk dock with her. I don't think it will happen, but technically he can.
Hey, how about that? This is fun. This is a cool list. This feels super scummy.
I feel like we haven't seen Manaru since Manaru was the cheap jump master, right?
Yeah.
We haven't seen Manaru in a while. We haven't seen the Kiraxes, obviously. And I think Lima's around, but always fun to see.
Yeah. On the right side, Mike is bringing some Fang fighters. Of course, we've got our hard-hitting pal, Fen Rao, with Fearless, Clan Training, Mandalorian Optics, and Beskar reinforced plating. If he feels comfortable enough, he can take a lock after rolling into range 1, and then just sit there and take focus with Clan Training for the nasty double modded shot. Of course, Fearless is a great passive double mod as well, a soft double mod. He gets 5 attack dice at range 1, unless it's an APT, we get 6, but in this case, no APT. And 4 defense dice at range 1. Old Tarok, not seen as often of the Fangs, because Old T is in that kind of 5-point slot. He's pretty good at 5, but he's, it really depends on what you're able to do with him and if you can get his ability to trigger. So his ability is at the start of the engagement phase. I gotta lean in for this, it's so tiny to text. You may choose one enemy ship in your at range 1, and if you do and you're in its front arc, you are in the front arc, sorry, it removes all green tokens. I know that was insufferable to have me read that, but it's just really small text. He's got Fearless, Clan Training as well as Beskar Reinforced Plating and Mandalorian Optics. So lots of opportunities to get double modded shots, get locks in the system phase. The thing that we forget about with Mandalorian Optics is you also ignore obstacles obstructing the attack.
Yeah.
Beyond, I think it's beyond range 0.
I don't know. I don't know.
Let's see. Let me actually just take a look at the card in front of me in the game. Right side. Over here, Mandalorian Optics. While we perform a primary attack, if you have a lock in the defender, ignore obstacles beyond range 0, obstructing the attack. That's pretty good. We've got Lima Kai, the 3-point Y-Wing, featured on both sides with dorsal turret and plasma torpedoes. Lima has a sneaky ability. If nobody has her in their front arc before she engages, she may acquire a lock in her front half on an enemy and an object in her front half.
Yeah.
We got Dirge with Fearless. Interesting with Fearless. Proton cannons and contraband cybernetics. And then Bosk with expert handling marksmanship as well. So the same build on both sides. Those are the lists. Betting is open. Bet early and bet often.
Bet often? I'd bet more than once.
I wish you could, right? So
What are you betting on?
Oh man, it's a lot to chew through on Michael's side, but not nearly as much damage potential. I would say, even despite still having some 3 dice or 4 dice guns out there, depending on where you're at. The Fangs, I think it really depends on what Mike can do with the Fangs. So I do think that this is Michael's game to lose, Michael Shively's game to lose, just based on the amount of health that he's got over there, the tankiness. But he doesn't have the initiative benefit as he does with the I6 with Fen. So could matter. Dirge, of course, the proton cannon, you got those large bases. This is actually going to be a pretty interesting matchup. I don't think it's very lopsided at all. What about you? What do you think?
I think that, what are we playing here? What's the scenario? Is it
assault again? We're apparently
assault
that's all
again?
we play
I think,
here.
Yeah, I mean that's 5 straight games of Draft League on stream of assault between 2 different streams. Hopefully Ladrian and Milkman are playing assault too, just to really settle it, but we'll see. I think that I kind of like Shively's chances a little bit more just because of those large bases. He could get eaten alive by those proton cannons and plasmas, but I think the large bases, especially with Afra, I think she has to give the Fang Fighters pause as she can get them at range 1, not in her front arc, right? So they can be not fearless if they're in the little the sides of the 180 there. Then the little 45 little triangles that are on either side of that front
Concordia
arc.
as well. Can't use Concordia if you're
Yep.
in that side arc.
Yep. So I think that she gives them a little bit of pause here. Ladrian said it's going to be chance later. Okay. Oh, you guys can break the cycle if you want. But
I don't know. I think we got to keep
edgy.
assaulting these satellite arrays.
These satellite arrays haven't learned their lesson yet.
Yeah,
Keep assaulting.
right.
Go, go,
I
go.
thought Jammin would have taught them a lesson that last game. Jammin just had an
Teach you
all-around
this lesson, old man.
Yeah, I mean, Jammin has had an all-around just great game from his tactical decisions, his deployment, into the objective play. I mean, it was just a
I feel for
masterclass.
Maui. I've been on the receiving end of a game like that against Jammin on stream.
Yeah.
Also Assault against FO, where they were just like offensively killing it, objectively killing it.
Yep.
Me
So good.
being killed.
Such a great faction for objectives. It is worth noting in our podcast we talk about the B-Wings and how the B-Wings are an example of a chassis that, despite their price, and you can say whatever you want about their loadout and their price, they're more of a 2.0-ish faction than they are a 2.5, or rather chassis than they are in 2.5. And I think...
I can't remember who I joked with recently, but I was joking with someone that you could probably take 25 points of B-Wings and still lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you could probably
Absolutely. You bring 5 and you could still easily... I mean, they can't... They're just... in going over to Scum is something I've been talking about recently. Is Scum is the faction that's kind of been left in the dust because they are the most 2.0 faction of all the factions that have adapted over to the new version of the game, as we have just gotten started and underway with round 1 of Assault at the Satellite Array. Scum versus Scum. 5-straight boost versus the Raada Wanderers in our first move of the game, 8:36 p.m. Central.
I do want to point out, I don't want to be too mean to Mr. Shively. He named this team 5-straight boost. None of these ships can 5-straight boost.
It's a little hypocritical, if you ask me.
A little suspicious.
A little low-key sus, no cap.
Low-key sus, no cap. No cap.
B-Wings have gotten power creep. Yeah, they're not able to keep up because they die when they try to with the damage race. Like, they can do damage, but they die in the process immediately, and every other ship that is kind of keeping up is not dying like they do.
I think, and this is based on vibe, not based on actual data.
Ooh, based on vibes. I like that.
I think 10 and Braylon could probably be okay at 4.
Oh, absolutely.
I think they would be takeable.
That's what we talk about in the podcast. We talk about, we have a segment called Break It or Buy It, where we take a chassis and we choose a few pilots, and you either buy it at a cheaper price or you break it and either change their loadout or even something with their ability. Or
Nick, if you were, let's say you wanted to listen to this podcast, where could you do so?
Right. Well, the reason why I haven't been floating it or linking it here, mentioning it here on our streams, is because we're still getting it on Spotify and Apple and Google Podcasts. It's on Zencastr right now, and you can go to our Discord as well as our Facebook, and it's linked there. But I am going to put it as something that Streamlabs will say in the chat to link you guys once we get everything kind of up to speed. We're just trying to get it posted everywhere else.
It's been a while since I mentioned this earlier that I used to, a long time ago, I used to do that myself. And I did it via WordPress upload, and oh boy, talk about an awful way to like upload podcasts and get them distributed. It worked, but it was so much back end effort.
Yeah.
So whatever you do, don't use WordPress.
No,
the custom RSS feeds.
We're using Zencastr, and then it has a feature where as long as you have your accounts linked and you've created the accounts for said platforms, it just kind of cross posts and schedules for you.
Sweet.
So yeah. Zencastr's pretty sweet. And shout out to Andrew Kuba, who is the producer of the show. He offered, he said, hey, I know you want to do this. I'd love to do this, and I'll take on the effort of producing it and editing it for you because I am so busy. So it's pretty nice. The luxury of having that help is he just couldn't ask for anything better.
Great guy.
He's a good guy. Certified good dude. One of our best locals.
Good dude. I definitely missed him at Gen Con. Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing him and Tim and Manny and all them again.
Yeah.
I think Gen Con I'll be at next year, regardless if I'm playing X-Wing or not at the time. I think
Gen Con is so good to me, man. I do well there. I mean, it's 2 years in a row, not a huge sample, but versus LVO, I always lose the bubble game. So I'm kind of over. And now that I was fortunate enough to get a Worlds invite, I don't feel the pressure to spend that kind of money to go to LVO. LVO is just kind of a cool time, but it's just a lot.
LVO is fun to hang out at. If you've got people to hang out with, if your crew's not there, it's
that's the problem. Is that the last year almost nobody that was there the year before went.
Yeah, well, I think
Manny went with me, so we were able to hang out. But
the great thing about LVO 2022, right, was it was like the first big X-Wing competition where it felt like you can go to again after the Rona, as it were. So I think it got a lot of extra hype because of that, and it had some really cool prizes. Yeah, AMG definitely dumped a lot of like the extra like FFG stuff out.
Really
which was great.
Also, Braylon is 5 points, so Flying the Mighty is wrong.
I think Fly is more talking about the fact that no one plays them. They're unplayable than saying they're not actually real. Because Hera is also 5 points, and she's she's all right.
Tough, man.
She can take Swarm and Proton Torpedoes, which makes her good enough.
She is mid.
Yeah, I would say she's definitely mid for 5-point options for Rebels right now, but she doesn't feel like you're handicapping yourself when you take her.
Yeah. So
I think Gina at 4 also kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
But I know I'm a bigger Gina fan than
going
most.
back to what I was saying about the podcast in the Break It or Buy It segment, we had Crispy on, so we'll be posting episode 2 on Monday, this coming Monday. Ooh. And I talked about Netrum, and I even made the argument that kind of independent of where Rebels are right now in terms of their options, it is what it is. I have no control over that. I just realized that the overlay is super messed up. I got distracted by that. Independent of that, I think that Netrum should be 3 points with like almost no loadout, just to get a B on the table.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
That's the thing. It's just like, why not? What is that?
I think there's still a good chance if you take Netrum, if you make Netrum 3, that they're not even like the third.
Sorry about that, guys.
3-pointer, you know, for Rebels, that is.
Yeah, it could be problematic just because it's a 3-point. Like, oh, with everything else you could build, it's like you can't do the segment faithfully if you're gonna be like, oh, but you couldn't because Luke is 5 and that you could build Han, and it's like, no, it's just that's not.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I think even if Netrum was 3, they wouldn't even be like. They wouldn't even be like top 3-pointers for Rebels, you know.
I just want there to be more choices that people have to actually ponder instead of being like, oh, this is DOA. The entire chassis is DOA.
Yeah, there's a lot of chassis in the game right now that are like that. I mean, RZ2s seem like similar, like maybe 1 or 2 are good. The rest are kind of shitty. B-Wings, obviously. I think a lot of the Y-Wings that aren't 3 points are useless in every faction. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's a 4-point Y-Wing out there that's good. Maybe Dutch, maybe.
I mean, it's tough. I go back and forth with Dutch being 3 because he's too cheap at 3, but he's just not good.
I think that standard Dutch that has like an ion cannon and like a bomb should be 3. But like, I don't know. Again, I don't think any Y-Wing at 4 is worth it right now. If any, like in any faction, literally any faction.
You know, it's a crime. 4-point Shara Bay. What's going on here? Why is she the same price as Shara in the Ark?
Yeah, that's insane.
She can't even take Prockets. And Jake, you know what? I want to see a tour of Jake at 3 points with less loadout.
Yeah, give him like 6 loadout or like enough that he can't take.
He can take like a missile if he wants to, but he doesn't want to take a target lock. So
give him ion missiles or like enough to take ion missiles or like Predator or something. Call it a day. I agree.
My best version of the game right now for me is I freeze on camera for some reason. I'm just having a great time in this second round right now.
We're doing okay. We'll be all right.
We're surviving. It's okay. It's okay. What was I saying? The best version of the game for me right now is giving people just options when you hit the drop down of each ship and being like, oh, which one? Instead of the 2 obvious A-Wing pilots, you're like, oh, there's 4 or 5. Like B-Wing,
I think FO is a really good faction to look at in that regard of like every ship is viable, at least 1 or 2 pilots, and that I think most ships have nearly all pilots viable. I think the FO may be excluded because of how many FO pilots there are, but like if you're taking an SF, you can take Quick Draw, you can take Hughes, you can take Backdraft, and I think all 3 are pretty viable.
Yeah.
Or even Phasma in certain cases, I can see arguments for like, you know, all the name ones are like, these are.
That's a great point.
I
mean, the Resistance and First Order factions, I think, have a really good, kind of a sweet deal right now, just in terms of the value spread across the pilots. You know, there's
my argument for Resistance though is like I think a couple of their chassis are dead. Like I think the Fireball is pretty dead. Jarek is okay, but Kaz right now can't compete. He can't compete with T-70.
People still take him though. There's a difference between like feeling like I probably shouldn't play him.
Well,
like,
I still take Gina and Jake, and I shouldn't do that.
Well, yeah. I mean, what the couch, the transport.
I think Kova's pretty dead right now too at 5. Like you're not seeing her at all anymore. Like
Dirge's gonna roll up there with the focus, getting dangerously close to Manaru. I think that's range 1 for old T.
Does Manor have? Manor, she's got a green. Okay.
What that looks like range 1 for sure.
I believe Manaroo would trigger first at start of engagement phase, right? Who triggers first? Is it player order?
It's player order, yeah.
So Manaroo could yeet that focus over to Bosk or Afra, and then Terra doesn't get to take it away,
His
right?
first player is Shively.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the play here. If you're Shively, hopefully he remembers that ability and
taking a lock.
You trying to go for that double modded attack? Oh no, just trying to get the plasma off. That seems fair.
Yeah. And Lima Kai
Sometimes you
will
don't go for
get
the
a double modded shot, or at least a free lock onto Fen Rao.
Fen, yeah, I mean I don't love giving your flank to Fen here. It's gonna be 3-on-3, but still, I don't like those odds if I'm Fen Rao.
Oh yeah, dude.
This is where you take a lot of hurt.
Yeah. By a range controlled missile or torp is just super scary with those things, and you can't use Beskar when you don't have them in your front arc.
Yep. That's why people say, like, I still think there's an argument for shield over Beskar of just like,
now Manaroo's gonna, there's 3 shots in the Fen now.
Yeah.
And that should be everybody moving. We're ready to get the pew pews in here.
I want to see Manaroo toss this focus to somebody else. Hopefully Shively remembers that before
officially enter the start of the engagement phase.
He wants to, can you promote him? Looking for promotion.
I thought I did. Oh. Thank you. Yeah, I have the chat closed right now.
Yeah, I think I like Shively's positioning a little more right now. Yeah, that is the toss. Forget that. I think Shively's got a decent position. Victor Hallowish was a little bit further up.
Yeah, Victor, I don't know if Victor's going to have a shot.
He'll have Bosk, I think. I think he's got Bosk. Well, maybe he doesn't. Oh, I'm looking at that. Yeah, I think Victor maybe wanted to go a little bit faster or a little bit slower. I think he's in a weird middle ground. But for the rest of the ships, I think they're pretty decent.
That chassis dial frustrates me a lot.
Yeah, it really wants a boost action.
Well, the dial, it doesn't have a 1 straight, it doesn't have a 3 hard.
I know.
Really
that's what I'm saying. Like, it needs a boost to like fix it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah,
make it more.
It's featured on the engine upgrade card, but it can't take a boost. So
yeah,
funny. All right, so Fen's got a downtown shot. I don't see the dice cam anymore. That's not good. Where'd you go, dice cam? Dice cam. Here we go. There it is. Not good. I wish they were using the dice that I had programmed in because of the. That's fine. I can.
Why Manaroo tossed the
Fen's out of range.
Ooh, yeah, Fen barrel rolled. Manaroo tossed the focus so Terra couldn't get rid of it. Right, with Terra's ability, he could have just said no focuses for you, thanks. But instead, you tossed it.
And nobody took damage there, I guess.
It does not appear to be so. Yeah, Manaroo definitely wants a token, but I think the
it's always really weird to me when players do this where they insist on using a different version of the TTS dice for some reason.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? Why do you insist on making your TTS dice?
I care if it's hard to read, like if it bleeds through the but it's not that bad.
Ooh, 90 of AIDS on
pretty good.
Manaroo?
Yeah, just a shield down on Manaroo.
Yeah, two shields with plasma though. There's a plasma port from Lima.
Yeah.
But plasmas are great. 5 points, plasmas, really good.
Plasmas are really good. Good, still a good option on Wedge, although Wedge seems to be kind of not a factor in most Rebel lists.
Yeah, I think Wedge is the problem of like he's the same cost as. I don't even like Wedge A-Wing that much. He just doesn't seem to do all that much.
Yeah, I agree.
He still doesn't have the offensive output to really make it worth his while over like Keo. Keo's so good. Or an Hole too. Hole is
Fly the Mighty is like, I mean, Vince is kind of, he's preaching to the choir because he's like the faction is good, but he does like all the things he wants to play he can't, or like is hamstrung by, and I definitely relate to that.
I get it.
I haven't been playing Rebels recently.
I mean, if you look at my well, I didn't play on stream this past week, but like so far my Rebel play in Draft League has not been the
old T,
the medalist, because I just don't really care to play the medalist.
Yeah, it's just boring, man. Andrew and I got an argument on our podcast. I called the ARC 170 list incredibly boring. He was like, I don't think it's boring. I'm like, it's super boring.
You want straight focus. Like,
Really boring. The 3 Arc 170 lists, like super boring.
yeah, I wouldn't want to play it.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
I
So
don't think I
that
played
looks
any
like
of the
2
SOC
go
arcs yet.
through on Mana Room. What'd you say?
I don't think I've actually used any of the SOC arcs yet.
Yeah.
For that reason, I'm just like, whatever. They seem really efficient and good. I don't know.
Vince is
Boring.
mad. You big man.
Why does Wedge have 9 loadout? Yeah.
They didn't
I mean, they dropped a lot of loadout across the board.
Happy, which
Yeah,
they
they
succeeded in
dropped-
doing. They neutered proton torpedoes pretty hard.
Which I
in
think
that
is good.
faction. Yeah, I don't want to see it everywhere, but of all the factions that it just makes the most sense.
I mean, you still see a lot with
Luke.
Luke, obviously.
Yeah.
2 more into Manor. Manor's taking a beating right now,
Yeah,
man.
Manaru is down to.
She's down to 2. She's down to 1.
I have it as 1. Yeah.
Yep, she's down to 1.
How many more shots into Manaru here?
None.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah, Manor will live to see 1 more day. The question: do they have a? They don't have a sloop, right? There's no way they can.
They can sloop.
Ooh, which way? It's only one way, right?
I think it's only one direction. I think it's to the left.
It's only one direction. That's what makes them beautiful. I think that left sloop fits, and I think that's what they have to do next turn.
That would be a pretty good move, actually. Get a lot.
Yeah,
of
that left sloop actually I think fits.
So
The
Victor
Crusader
Hell, 2 hits and a
against
crit into Bosk.
Not bad. It's not even like a crusade against Protorps as much as it is like maybe there shouldn't be Protorps everywhere. Like I think maybe you don't have a Ford ammunition everywhere, but I think if one faction should be able to use it, maybe it should be Rebels.
People inflated how, like, they just kind of over exaggerated how problematic proton torpedoes were a while ago, like before this latest iteration. They were never like that big of a deal.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I mean, there was a couple pilots that used them, but like they weren't that common. And nowadays, you still only see it like on a couple pilots, right? Like Poe in the T-70, like we saw earlier. Both iterations of Poe usually have a proton torpedo.
Still have a focus with old T? No, he's taking it.
Ooh.
Hit, crit? No, just a crit. Can't Beskar.
Nope. Split that. Your boss, split that, I say. Make it 2. Have them.
And we're doing the horizontal damage card pull.
Horizontal
There we
deal.
go. There we go.
Yeah, he's splitting it.
Nice. So Bosk
I love
splits the
that
crit
move.
and gets half damage on old T.
I love that move here. A crit on a Fang Fighter is always great to have, obviously, but I think that
more
right
damage
now,
is better.
yeah, I think right now you get him to half, and I think you're a lot more scared. At least I would be more scared if I'm old T if I have 2 health as opposed to, 3 3 health and a face-up damage card, whatever it may be. I guess a structure would have been great, but I think the guaranteed extra damage is worth it here.
Yeah. Bosk has his own bullseye on Victor Hell.
Yeah, I think you take that shot. I mean, you're in the front arc of Afra. Don't shoot her.
Oh, we're not using this.
He's shooting Afra.
Huh.
He's shooting Afra. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Interesting. All right, Manaru.
Manu finally getting that revenge shot. I think you go into Tarok.
Yeah.
Take the get rid of the focus or get rid of the stress and take the extra die with.
Well, he does have a focus, so he decided just to keep it for this shot, I guess.
So maximum of 4. Never mind. You can't. You've already got 4 dice. You can't do the Gar-Saxon trick. Yeah, never mind. Disregard.
Well, there you. Jeez. I mean, Beskar is going to come in handy here.
Yeah, you're gonna
you
need
roll
it.
all paint.
You just need 2, right?
You just need
you
2, and then you get 3rd for Concordia, and then you can Beskar the crit, and you're totally.
It's crazy
fine.
that Fangs can just do that.
Yeah,
well, he only gets
get
1.
it.
He's taken at least a damage here. We'll see if he uses. I mean, he has to use Beskar.
He has to, or he dies. Yeah.
Yeah. Beskar it. Turn the crit face up. Direct hit. Beskar that shit out of here.
It's weird that he's.
Get it out.
I mean, no matter what you need to Beskar, it doesn't matter. I mean, I know you can technically see the card, but you're dead if you don't Beskar it. No matter
Yeah, there
what.
it goes.
Yeah, Beskar is.
Is he not Beskaring? They looked at Beskar. What are they not using Beskar for? Should we ask them. I don't know if that's interference in the game.
Yeah, that's unfortunately, it's a choice.
I don't know if it's a rules question though, because it seems like they looked at it enough. You know what I mean?
Spend 1 charge to be dealt that card face down instead, or spend 2 charges. So he decides.
I feel like it's a
Turok could be killed.
It seems like it's a rules question though. Of like, I don't know if he knows he can use it here because they looked at it a bunch. I'm gonna private message Shively really quick. Where is? Ooh, boss dies to Afra.
Yeah, and Turok's just deleted. That's too bad. He would have lived. He needed him to not be dead.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna message. I'm messaging Shively because I think there's a. I don't know. I think there's a weird disconnect there of like not knowing how that works or something.
Turok exploding immediately. Never seen that before. Well, he shouldn't have. Should not. Not there. Not yet.
Weird. Something feels weird about that one. I don't know. Anyway, Michael Shively up to a early 5-0 lead after taking out 10-2 lead. Biddy, my question is, why didn't Turok use Beskar? Because I think they looked at the card, like they hovered over the card. Clearly, they were reading it, and I'm worried they think they can't use it because they're in a turret arc, even though that's not how that works. They're still in the front arc.
I'm glad that you didn't go in and talk to them though, because it's just one
I
of those
haven't.
things.
I messaged Michael Shively because again, he's a captain. I'm just gonna ask him.
How did he get to 10
But it looks like he's not gonna
points?
respond to me in time. So
How did he get to 10?
he killed Bosk too. Yeah.
Oh, he got Bosk. Yeah.
It's just the way they hovered over Beskar that threw me off. But it looked like they were reading it and they came to the conclusion they couldn't use it, which isn't.
Yeah, it's odd. He had a focus he could have spent to not take any of the initial 2 damage, which caused him to get killed by.
Yeah, well, I mean, he saved the focus for the Manaru shot, and he spent the focus there. It's just, again, just the way he. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. It's possible I'm reading too much into it. It's just the way he hovered over. He hovered over the.
I don't know. I don't know Mike very well, so maybe Maybe he's doesn't play Scum often, or.
I'm worried it's a rules question, but. That's again why I didn't message Chorney. I'm messaging the captain there just to ask him what happened. And
yeah,
if he responds, he responds. If he doesn't, then whatever. Mistriggers happen. It's not a big deal.
He's gonna frickin' ghost you, dude.
Yeah, not a big deal if it doesn't happen. It's a mistrigger. Those things are fine. They're not musts. Hopefully we're not trying to when someone doesn't do something because they didn't think the rules allowed for it, that bothers me. You know what I mean? When it's like, oh, I didn't know I could do that. I would have done it if I'd known. That kind of stuff bothers me. So I just try to avoid that if I can. But
Michael's a pretty honest dude, so
yeah, which is why I think it may just be I think they may both be confused about it, which is why
I probably would have been like, hey, you should just Beskar that, but unless they both didn't know.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done too, but that's all right.
What is the new legend till coming out? That's a great question. Have they talked about that at all in the Discord?
Nope, not since Gen Con or Adepticon. They showed Battle of Endor, they showed some stuff, and then
they do kind of owe us an update on that, especially to appease people, because the angst is very real right now.
That would be cool.
Would be nifty, for sure. So it's 10-2. Shively just jumping to an 8-point lead here. It doesn't even feel like it, but he has. Those are the numbers.
Those are the numbers.
We'll take one more look at standings here. I have to refine the file in 1 second because the drive disconnected for no reason.
Classic OBS.
Stand by, stay on target.
Okay.
There we go. So win, loss, draw format there, and in terms of our standing breakdown, I know that I think the draft league is doing win, draw, loss. It doesn't matter as long as you know what you're looking at. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay. So Michael says it's a miss trigger. That's fine. That wasn't like a question. It wasn't a rules question. Again, it's a miss trigger. It's a miss trigger. That's fine. It's just I just want to make sure it wasn't like a I didn't know I could do that, and then later, I mean, maybe it's still I didn't know they could do that. I guess I wanted to make sure both players didn't look at it, decide they couldn't use it, and move on. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what I want to do. I want to make sure it wasn't like a both players didn't know. This is more just like a one player didn't think about it or whatever. That's fine. I just want everyone to have a good time.
Yeah, well, it's cutthroat here in the draft league. Michael saw his opportunity to stomp on the throat of
Yeah, I
his
said
counter.
this guy not so
counter
confident.
part.
We're gonna beat the shit out of him. Tarek committed seppuku to regain his clan's honor. He said, Beskar, nope, that's a coward's way. I'm gonna just take the death. It's honorable.
What's the deal with the Beskar reinforced plating? First you take the crit, then you ditch it. It's okay.
It's okay.
What's the deal? My favorite part about doing a Seinfeld impression is just trying to get the whiny part of it right. You know, just the higher pitch. And people always know you're doing a Seinfeld even though it's terrible.
Oh, it's because it's so iconic, right? He's one of those impressions that even what 20 years out from the show being off the air, it's still as iconic as ever.
Yeah, so Afra finishing off boss too. Just you got to have there from the shot from Victor Hell, and then Afra finishes him off. And yeah, no flank position as you mentioned in the chat. It's tough.
Yeah, boss was honestly, I thought he was in a decent spot for Mike Chorney, and then he just ate it.
In terms of the Nickel City games, because I haven't been able to tune in recently, have most of them been blowouts?
No, I think we've had. I mean, again, the cat to
that was a close one.
The cat Andre one was 20 to 18, 21 to 16, something like that. Real close.
Yeah.
I think there was another one earlier that night. That I think the game 2 was also pretty close, but I don't remember.
Yeah, we've had. I want to say
some good stream games.
3/4 of the games on our stream so far have been blowouts.
Sometimes it's how it goes, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
Dirge gets that bullseye on Victor. Oh, Victor's got 3.
Is this a?
Victor's got 3 calculates.
This is it might be a weird question, but I'm just thinking about it. And it depends on how you define blowout. And when I ask this, there isn't really any angle that I have. But do you feel like you see blowouts more often now than you did in 2.0?
Yes and no. I don't know. It's a hard question, right?
Yeah.
I think objectives make it easier to snowball once someone's in the lead.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if I see more or less blowouts because I think there's still just matchups where some lists are just way better than others.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not even it's a bad list, but just it's a good matchup for that list, right?
Yeah, to prepare for the scenario, to build a list around it too, I think kind of warps my perspective as well, because the average 2.5 game, people aren't doing that.
That's such an interesting thing about Draft League too, is that you do get the chance to both know your opponent, know their faction, and know what scenario it is. So it leads to a lot of interesting list building where it is trying to build more for that scenario necessarily than trying to build a great all-around list, which is one of the fun things about it. It gives you options and more reason to try them. And I do agree with Fly. I think blowouts in 2.0 were still pretty common.
There wasn't a way to score more points though outside of just destroying more ships.
Yeah.
That's the only counter I have to that, but I don't have an opinion on it. I was just a thought experiment kind of thing.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's just more common to see the snowball effect, right? Where someone's in the lead, and then they just run away with it really fast.
Yeah. So Fed is gonna have a range 0 shot. feel like we're moving really slowly, but maybe it's just me being impatient.
I think we're moving okay. I mean, we had 10 points scored in the first and the second turn. I mean, we're doing all right. Doing okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're 45 minutes in, and we're starting the engagement for round 3.
Yeah, I guess we are. No, we're only 30 minutes in. Count down from 1:15, right?
I can math. 30 minutes. Still not amazing. It's not bad.
10 minutes around? That's not bad. That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Not bad.
45, bro.
Not bad.
Yeah, because I'm over here like, 90-minute games. That's never been the case, Nick. Where are you getting that from? All right.
Finals were sometimes like 90. Or not 90, I'm sorry. The finals were 90 sometimes.
I remember.
That always bugged me.
Those days of really long finals. Yeah.
That always bugs me and still does. Of like, why would you change the format for the last game?
Yeah, I mean, the other games didn't matter in Top Cut.
But like, even that, it's just like you play the game one way until the end, then you play it a slightly different way.
Yeah,
that's
it's like,
odd.
I just want to give people extra time to think.
Yeah. Yeah, and like Betty said, it's 30 minutes to get halfway to 20. I mean, that's pretty good. I think they're at a fine pace right now.
Yeah, in terms of points, that's a good point.
A lot of ships moving, you know?
I missed when Dirge took a couple shields.
We were too busy talking about Terrork, I think. Or bullshit, who knows? Who knows?
Gonna have to spend their... Mana Roof stays alive. Still alive! Still alive!
Staying alive.
You know, the average person in our generation hasn't seen Airplane or even heard of it, and it just really bums me out.
Really?
Oh yeah, you're like, what's that?
I feel like a lot of parents had to show their kids that one, you know?
Well, I mean, I can't believe that movie is rated PG and there's just a woman fully.
Well, don't forget, it's like that's a pre-PG-13 movie, though.
Yeah,
you know?
This is hilarious. Parental guidance is strongly suggested. All right, Dirge of the Proton Cannon to Victor Hell.
Did we hit it crit after the Proton Cannon? Yep. Did he spend both? He's got to spend both charges. I think Mike was pointing that out. Did he Proton Cannon last turn? No.
No, he didn't.
Okay, cool.
So Dead to Rights is a factor here. And
hit it crit into Victor.
I'll let him know.
I got it.
Okay.
Damaged engine. Make that dial even worse.
All right.
Most people in Big 5 don't know Will Smith was a rapper. That's probably true. What's your favorite Will Smith rap song, Nick?
I don't know much of Will Smith's music, to be honest. So the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air rap intro. There you go. My answer. Final answer. Uncultured.
Getting jiggy with it.
Remember the Pursuit of Happiness, dude?
No, I've never had that in my life.
Yeah, right.
I guess I've never.
That movie is a hard rewatch for sure.
Yeah.
Dirge taking a damage.
Dirge down to 4. Yeah, if you can kill him. I mean, can you? Who did Fen shoot, Manaru? Who did Lima shoot? Did we just miss it? And
these are range 0 shots, that he was taking with Lima and Fen.
This is in the Lima range 2. Lima takes the shield.
Guaranteed squiggle.
Blink. Yeah, 1 agility guaranteed.
That's what it feels like, at least. All right. Ooh, range 1?
2.
Oh, range 2.
2 by hair.
Oh my goodness, that's real close.
Dirge is definitely happy about that. Only 2. Oh, gonna spend the reinforced Landoing it up.
There you go.
For 3. I love Lando on Afro. What a great
so
combo.
Good. Oh, Dirge taking 3
all
more.
Of it? Yeah, no focus. You could technically make 1 a crit and take hit crit, but which is worse? 3 damage or 2 in a crit, or 1 in a crit? I don't know.
Yeah, Dirge
down to
1.
I think next turn is definitely a 5k, right? Pop contraband.
Yeah.
K turn. Now you're behind Afra and maybe get a little bit of safety.
I mean, if Ben can annihilate Victor, it's very possible.
You gotta kill.
Boost.
You gotta kill Manaru.
Yeah. I think Lima
which I
would have to
think
find
is
a way to do
possible
that.
next turn.
Yeah, so you think Fen needs to turn in on Manaru?
I think Fen needs to go for Victor. I think that's the play. Fen goes for Victor. You trust Lima.
Right.
Lima is stressed. Ugh. Maybe you try to like straight and rotate the turret back. Maybe. I don't know. Not a great spot for Lima. What low bombs on that Lima? I don't think. No, dorsal and plasmas. Crit on the average is better, but variance and how some crits suck make it spooky. Yeah, like there's definitely stuff there that would have been really bad. So.
All right, scenario points. Looks like it's gonna be. I think it's contested in the middle.
That'd be Dirge, Bosk, Lima, probably. Not Lima, I'm sorry, Manaru.
I don't think Manaru's in the middle. There's no way.
Then who's contesting the middle?
Dirge and.
Oh, that's. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's. I forgot whose boss that was.
Good. So Michael does get. He still gets 4 this round. How did he get 4?
He gets the 1. I mean, he's got his Lima. Maybe
Manaru must be in range of at the top right, because there's
or
no
the
way.
middle, either one. Yeah.
Oh, there's no
Probably
way.
not the
That's
middle,
range 1, right in the middle. There's just no way.
Did they check it? Let me check chat. It'd be the one that's Bosk, Dirge in the middle. Yeah, that middle is contested.
Yeah. So it's.
Manaru got the top right. Yeah, Manaru got top right. Yeah, okay.
Did Michael
baffle the stress on whom? Who has baffle? Afra? No, he did not.
Baffle's not used very often.
I think he babooed the stress. Yeah, he babooed the stress there.
Going into round 4, it's 14-2. So try to get rid of Victor. That gets you a few points. Unfortunately, these big bases it's with assault. It is really hard. You try to scratch your way back with taking ships off the board, and then the large bases are like, thanks for the 3 or 4 points this round.
Yep.
The
Mr. 5 straight boost.
Not in Mike's favor.
5 straight boost plan right now is just to score objectives, which he should be able to do with relative ease. That's all you need to do right now. You don't even need to get kills. You just score objectives and call it a game, set, and match.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely am eating my words right now, because I talked about the amount of firepower that Michael's list has and Mike Chorney's list has, and he certainly does have that firepower capability, but we've seen a very strong performance from Shively's side with the damage.
And I think if Michael Chorney watches this game back, just remember your triggers. That Beskar could have saved Tarok, and that would have been really great for this turn of like Tarok goes straight into Victor. He removes all those green tokens, right? Maybe you lose him, but you probably trade Tarok for Victor there, And that's at least something a little more manageable. That's still the thing that bothers me the most about being a captain sometimes.
What triggers? Yeah, yeah, I know.
Like I do it too, so like I'm not free of that at all. I'm sure there's plenty of moments of being a bonehead on stream and missing a trigger, but like, it feels so bad when you're just yelling at the screen of like, do that. Yeah. Use the force. Reach out to them, please.
Yeah. Come on.
Use instinctive aim.
What was really hard for me was I streamed a lot of our games last season, and the ways that we managed to lose were just really baffling.
Yeah.
And it was like hard for me to like constructively, like it wasn't necessarily because of like a something be like a mistrigger or like a misdial or just a total mistake. Some of it was totally variance based, and other things it just didn't go our way. Just simply that gets the way the cookie crumbles. Like Road is always a factor, I think, too.
Yeah. For sure, and that's how I felt too last season. It felt like we just kept losing.
Yeah, it was.
We just kept losing by like 1 and 2 points, and I was like, oh,
and obviously
man,
winning is more
winning
is more fun, but like we didn't even get the gimme games, like just a feel good win. Like we didn't even get those. It's just pretty deflating, you know. Like
yeah,
you know, it's just. And obviously, I had a very very poor showing pretty much the entire season for a multitude of reasons. Some my own self-inflicted, and others are just got diced really hard. But
I feel that I
just didn't want to keep playing. I was like, man,
yeah.
That season I was like, I'm just gonna bench myself a couple times, because just that feeling of having that compounded 5 weeks in a row is really hard. Like it gets to you, and it's like, this is a game, man. Come on, like I shouldn't feel this tilted.
For sure, I definitely had a season like that last season where it was just like I just kept losing by like here and there. Some dice went the wrong way, or maybe I should have gone left and I went right or whatever, and it was just like, oh.
I remember streaming a couple of your games, and you would have situations, moments where you could pull ahead, or like where you set yourself up for success, and then it would not go your way, and it's like, and it's hard because you're like, okay, well, sometimes it's going to happen, but when it happens, in a small sample, all against you, it's hard.
Plus, and like it's a team event, when it happens, you just feel bad when the team down.
Yeah, exactly. As a captain, it's really hard. You're like, oh, everyone else is trying. I will say, shout out to Sean. I think he's with the Ascendancy now. Sean B.
Sean TD Stitch or whatever.
Yes.
Who
is just such not only was he a kind teammate, but he went out of his way to just help and get practice games in and just be optimistic and have fun and just
that's
such a great attitude that we needed.
We had a lot of good players on my team last season like that. Like I think Brendan Edwards was like that.
Phenomenal guy.
Shoko was like that. Shoko was like that when we got him on the team. Tyler was that. Maui was like that, trying to like motivate and be nice. Like it was a great like positive atmosphere, even if we didn't do so hot. Yeah. But
yeah, I mean, the last season was very intense. It just felt like the intensity was up because the player skill and the depth of the rosters was expanded. Yeah, and it just felt like every game you played was against somebody that you knew or have heard of and who's also really good. And it's just like, not that we were playing, bad players before, but
yeah,
it was just definitely a higher stakes.
Yeah, that happens, and it's
well, I love
that's
the
the nice thing about draft leagues. This is a great place to get better because everyone's really good.
Yep. So
you're kind of forced to. Alex pointing out that Dirge once again forgetting that. Forgetting contraband could be huge. Again, Michael, if you're watching this back, Mr. Chorney, don't forget your triggers.
Mike 9PTX 11X. Thanks for the sub. Welcome to the 312 crew.
Sub club.
We got 69 subscribers. Pretty dope. Yeah, sub club. We have a sub club where we do extra giveaways, and we asked for your insight on a lot of things, including future cards that we're going to start playing.
I do have a bone to pick with you.
Yeah. What's up?
You've never given away a sub. I want a sub.
Oh, like a sandwich? Okay.
Yeah. When are we
like a little Subway gift card or something? No, it's got to be an actual good sandwich place, not Subway.
Yeah, preferably not Subway.
Jersey Mike's or something.
Oh, we love Jersey Mike's.
Or Portillo. Is there Portillo's over by you?
There's a couple. There are a couple. They're mostly down like in the touristy sections of Orlando.
I said Portillo's when I meant to say Potbelly, but I do love Portillo's.
There are no Potbellies. Okay. There are a couple Portillo's, but they're mostly down like in the touristy section, like iDrive and close to Disney.
Yeah.
But they exist.
They're there.
Yeah, get a little hot dog action going on,
So good. All right, so we're barely clipping Victor with Fen here, and that's a great shot. I mean, that is fearless, and you get. I think that just does it.
That'll do it. Yeah.
Nice.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Yeah. So 4 points there. Gets Sean or mic'd from 14, but now 14 to 6 instead of 14 to 2.
I hate the fact that Manaru is still like.
What did?
Oh man, what did Lima did a one straight? Yeah. Did Lima self bump? Why is Lima stressed?
I am not sure.
I would have loved to see that rotate on Lima. Try to get like the dorsal to kill Manaru. You gotta kill Manaru.
Dude, don't talk about sandwich. Can we go to that joint near your parents' place that sells ridiculous Cuban sandwiches? I go there a lot when I'm home for lunch. They have good sandwiches. Yeah, dude.
Rachel goes to Jersey Mike's, I think, pretty frequently because she gets like you get a sub, a big sub, and then you eat it like day one and then next day for lunch as well.
Jersey Mike's gets a lot of flack just because they're insanely expensive, but everything.
They're not that expensive.
Everything is expensive. Potbelly is like an exception, man. They're not only they have good food, but it's cheap. It's like surprising.
Ooh. Yeah, if R5P8 kills Manor, that'd be great. This is into Afra. Afra's taken. No, she's not reinforced because Dirge is in the back arc. He's flanking technically.
Yeah, just dissecting
He's in
that
both.
base. So taking, was it 2 shields or 3 there?
2 shields, just 2. Afra's probably okay with that.
Yeah.
Afra will be stressed at the start of the next system phase, though, thanks to Babu.
One Lima onto another.
Lima on Lima violence. A little Y on Y action. I think well, how much is Lima taking? Oh, nothing. I would rather see Lima shoot into Bosk here.
There's that evade. You knew it was coming.
Yeah. If I was Chorney, I think I'm shooting into Bosk. He's a little bit easier to kill. It's only 2 points, sure, but you get...
oh, yeah, with the dorsal there. Yep.
Yeah, easier to get those 2 points. Fen is double stressed.
Dirge is in a position to be able to proton cannon. Next turn. So that could be a thing with Lima out there. Y-Wing Master Race. Gets enough evades there. That is fine.
Yeah. Afra is not shooting Fen here, I would guess. I think Afra's
I would have taken that shot into Lima, to be honest, because Mike's Lima's taken shields already.
I agree too.
That was kind of a weird shot to take.
That doesn't matter.
Nope.
Fen's fine.
Even if you get 3, you don't feel like you're going to get any damage through.
No.
So this is the shot that Fen should be worried about, because it's range 2 here.
No, he's shooting the Dirge. Dirge has 1 health.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that Dirge was clearly in that side arc for a second.
Lando those 2. Boop, boop, boop.
The 3 will guarantee, and...
No, not guaranteed.
Not guaranteed. Hit
BT1?
crit with BT1. Dirge just needs to roll natty evades, and he does!
Ooh, there it goes.
I love this
needs.
stream with the random natty evades when you never expect it is just so fun. We've gotten a couple of those recent streams.
Yeah.
Now you have a choice. You shoot at your only choice, range 2. Lima Kai from Manaru on 1 hole.
Yeah.
The one that got away, it seems.
Yeah, you should have. I would have liked to see Lima rotate that turn. Do you R5P8? No. Lima's
So
up
use
full health.
Gar-Saxon.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Don't you dare R5P8.
Oh, because if you get a crit, you take a damage.
You get a crit, you're dead. Yeah. Don't be greedy.
And it's the crit on the reroll, right? Is what determines that? No.
Yes. If you get a crit on the
That would have been
reroll.
so fun.
Yeah, if you spend a charge to reroll and you get a... He's thinking about it. He's still like... There he goes. Okay.
Because you're not going to kill Lima either way.
No. If it was a kill shot, I could see it. Of like sacrifice 5 points for 3 and that gets you close enough to victory, but...
Hey, there's the evade. Takes 2 more.
1 agility every time.
50% of the time, it works every time.
I don't know if we'll see the E-Wing back in standard with a re-release or something.
Yeah, I mean, they teased, they made a reference to it. They didn't tease anything, but they made a reference to it in our interview about it making an appearance and as an example of something they would reprint with LF.
Yeah, I don't know if...
but I don't think they have any interest in doing anything right now, is the cold hard truth.
We don't know. Yeah, we don't know of anything coming out.
We don't know of anything coming out, and they haven't even talked about Endor still.
Oh, I think this is game. No, after they get 3. Okay, that's not game. I'm sorry. I don't think Mike Chorney gets any here. Yeah.
It's been a tough game for
I don't know
small
if Mike
base
has...
scum.
I'm trying to think what he's got, like what advantages he has right now.
He's got I mean, you have Dirge face. Is there a way Dirge can get all the way over to take a shot at Manaru?
No, you need Lima to like too hard rotate turret towards Manaru. Lima's got to kill Manaru, unfortunately.
Saw Jengar this week roll a crit on R5P8 and then got a fuel leak and then take another crit.
Oh my god.
Wild.
Getting greedy. I see. I wouldn't have done that twice. Well, I guess if I already got the crit, right? It's not gonna happen twice. What's the worst that happens? It's not happening twice.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that I've learned in what has helped me in my game playing X-Wing lately is to just completely remove, like the gambling aspect of just like, oh, I could do this. What's the worst that could happen? Like, you know, like what are the odds that I roll? I'm like, no.
You need to play towards the extremes, right?
Yeah.
Assume the extreme scenario.
Exactly. Yeah, because it's just because I've been burned many times thinking that way, and especially with road, people are like, I'm gonna dial in this maneuver that's perfect if they move first, and is gonna land me on a rock for a second turn in a row if I move first. It's like you don't. Very likely you move first.
I think there's definitely something to be said about doing that when it comes to like.
If it's a do or die play, that's different.
Yeah, you have to, right? It's late game. You gotta try it. It's the only way you're gonna get mad.
But if it's just like it, we tend to get greedy when the way we think about our decisions sometimes in this game.
I think that's just humans in general, right? We don't assume worst case scenario. We assume like averages. That's just how our brains are wired.
Yeah, this game. I mean, I know that it's not unreasonable to think that way, but it's just confirmation bias actually helping me.
Yeah,
be a little bit more careful. Like identifying in this game when, okay, you're on 2 or 3 hull, you can either turn in and take a shot on a ship you might be able to kill to guarantee the win, or turn away and protect yourself. And unless you need to turn in to get that kill, turn away and protect yourself. Like, don't, any shot coming into you just never, blankouts happen all the time. And as a Rebel player, don't I know?
Don't opt in a proton cannon. Yeah, I agree with Lima. Needs to probably not do that.
Yeah, proton cannon doesn't need it. It doesn't have a requirement for a lock or a focus or anything. It's just a.
It's weird that Mike Chorney hasn't recovered any of his proton charges.
Yeah, that's a must.
I think maybe he thinks it's like he gets 2 charges, like he gets to do it twice or something. I don't know. This is what I'm gonna say. If you're Brendo, right? You're captain. You gotta.
Yeah, it's fine. I got permission. I'll be right back. Hey you guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Your proton cannon charge is up, by the way. It's just a must in the game state.
Yeah, for sure. On Dirge over here.
Yeah, it should be 2 up now. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, Michael, no problem with that.
I hope your team out. Make sure they remember their triggers and their abilities.
Yeah, I mean, charges are charges, right? It's just like, it's
that one. Easy stuff like must, you know?
It's also important for Michael to see that he actually has a proton cannon up right now, because that informs his decisions as well. So it's just kind of good for the game.
In the join a practice game? Okay, well. All you can do is try to prepare, and you know, hopefully people use, like, I know I personally use Draft League as a way to get better.
I think it's tough though, because I mean, it depends on if it's like the fundamentals and just, you know, setting up with certain pieces. Yeah, but what's difficult is that your matchups are curated, so it's not really.
I think that gives you an extra
to the experience,
though, right?
Well, I mean, I like it. It's not me. It's not an opinion on me saying I dislike it. I just think it's one of those factors that is heavily removed when you go to a tournament.
Right.
It's not a thing.
Yeah. Well, I think
that's why you build a list that's flexible with scenarios.
Yes. Right, of course. But like, I think, especially when you're in the away team, right, where you know they're going to be like trying to pick your worst matchup, I think it gives you a chance to really try to like learn as best you can of like, okay, this is probably worst case scenario. You know, let's try to
like where's my floor versus where's my ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a good challenge, like when you are the away team and you win those games.
Absolutely, winning as an away team always feels great.
Got a tie in the road roll, and Shively will
crossroads it up.
Be first player. Speaking of Crossroads, I just had my call with Mark Moriarty. Their event, they're expected to have a big turnout, and they asked us to stream it, and it's just super cool. And he had some very nice things, very flattering things to say about our stream, and it was
well, that makes sense. He knows how to make you do something.
It's been kind of cool. People have been giving us some big kudos the last few weeks, and it feels good
because of that big Kuba.
Because of the Kuba, yeah. Well, I'd like to think that I have something to do with it because I created this thing, but I'll give him most of the credit.
Big Kuba. That's it.
Ooh, Barracuda.
Did she contraband? Is that how she did that? Yeah, she did. She contrabanded. Cool.
It's like, Dirge, you're gonna die.
Afra has chosen to not move for 4 turns since round 2. It's like perma-stop Maul, but cheaper.
Man, Maul in the Gauntlet. Talk about like make Maul 7 points, dude. Do it.
Yeah, immediately like nerfed into hell.
I mean, it's
Goodbye.
just out. He was already expensive at 8. 8-point ships. It was a huge risk taking. As somebody who played on at 8, it was a huge risk.
I don't think there are. I mean, what
He's
8-point ships
9?
still
Isn't he
exist in
9?
Standard? No, he dropped to 8. He dropped to 8.
Oh,
he was 9 for a
wow.
while. What 8-point ships still exist in Standard?
I don't think there is one.
Because like Vader Defender's 9. You know what I mean? I think it's just Maul.
Yeah, Rack used to be 8, right?
Rack and Han both dropped to 5.
Ray was
Or
8.
5.
Yeah,
dropped to 7.
everything. The tide lowered and all the points dropped.
Yeah.
Boba is 9.
Boba's 9. Yeah. Who's Zam and Django are 8. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Oh, that's right. Django's not 7 points. He's 8 points.
I think they're both pretty good at 8.
Yeah, I would not want Django. At
7-point Django.
I'm good.
7
I
point.
for the longest time I didn't think he was really that good, and have I been proven wrong in a lot of ways, whether I'm playing or not.
I think it's just like I6 fire spray, and the ability's sneaky. The ability's sneaky good. Of like, if he just keeps doing simple moves, like he can really ruin your day, especially like 3 agility ships.
Yeah, that's true.
Man, you're gonna have some shots into Fen, man. What are you doing? Triple zeroing Fen. Take 2 stress.
Did he boost? He linked boost focus. Fen.
Yeah, he's already stressed.
I just don't see the
triple
focus.
zero.
I assume it's just under the ship. Let's go to the lower 3/4 angle. I still don't see it.
Unless he was, I think he was listed as double stress last turn. I don't know how.
Yeah, he's got 3 right now. 2. Got 2. Not really good. I mean, that's 2 hits. Ugh. 5 dice and with Fearless and only getting 2 hits is abysmal.
Yeah.
Really
Victor Hell only had 1. Thank you, Biddy. Yep, Victor Hell only had 1 agility. Victor Hell's ability went off. Forgot. Usually it's the other way, right?
Yeah.
Usually it's that it's because he's rolling
he's
too many,
attacking,
not too few greens.
That is interesting. That's true.
I'm not getting
2.
skill gaps.
2 hits.
I think
Fenrir. That will.
Fenrir getting blocked by Manaru was huge. Didn't let Fen get in.
Gonna do it in terms of the game. Will play out this round, but 5 straight boosts continue their dominance here as the captain flexes his muscles.
Muscles.
And that
they were a tough team. We got beat by them 4-2 last week.
Yeah,
as we were away in that
player.
matchup.
It makes sense that he's a captain. That is a Patrick Bateman W. Oh yeah. Interesting. All right, let me pay out the bets. Oh, you all, and well, when you all pick one side, it doesn't matter. You don't get it. You all lose. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. It'd be feel good if you could just get Manaru out of there.
Yeah,
ships
I think
living on one hole
else.
feel like that happens. This is total confirmation bias.
Manaru took 8 damage in the first engage and then didn't get hit again.
Yeah, total confirmation bias, but I definitely feel like there are a lot of the games I lose now versus version 2.0. Ships are on one hole. In 2.0, I just didn't have that happen to me as much. And in this game, it just seems more common.
Because when they were on one hole in 2.0, it meant something in terms of points.
It's true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, you probably weren't losing as much when they were on one hole because you had already scored points for them. As opposed to this game, you don't do that as often when they're on one hole. So,
Dorsal shot.
Go, Dorsal, go! No!
That's 1. I mean, Manaru could blank out, I guess.
It's 1 eye.
Oh, it's not a crit? It looks like
not a crit. Yeah, one of those classic TTS kind of in the middle.
Weird cocked.
No.
Ghost eye.
Cocked, reroll it. Reroll it.
Thank you, Catherine. Appreciate it.
What Catherine did?
Banned bot.
Good. I think Catherine may be like a sub in every X-Wing channel I go into. Not sub, I'm sorry, a moderator. Yeah. Could be wrong, but it seems like she's a mod.
It
like,
just made sense because
X-Wing.
she's very supportive in here a lot. It's like as long as and it's
Oh yeah,
also
yeah,
not
for sure.
asking
I'm not
that
saying
much. Yeah.
I'm not saying that you were wrong to. I just find it funny.
Yeah, no, you're
Like,
not wrong. It's not wrong.
She gets around, you know.
This is 2 more into Lima Kai, who sticks around.
Just scoring points here. Remember, draft league, all points matter because they could be used as tiebreakers.
Yeah, which is gonna get Michael even more points. I think he's gonna. Is he gonna take all 5?
Oh, very possibly.
No, he won't get the middle, unless Manru
Wow.
kills Lima. Then it'll still be contested. Not a great roll. You have something you can do here. He's thinking about it.
I think you are 5p8 here if you really want to kill Lima because, like, you don't. What's the way to say this? Tiebreakers don't care if you how many points you gave up. Just cares how many points you
Tiebreakers
scored,
don't care about your feelings, dude.
They just care about how many points you score. So you just keep going for points, even if you lose them at this point. You know.
Man. Like,
They don't care about how many you gave up, just how many you scored.
Please stop.
He's
I
already
don't
dead.
want to play anymore. I'm done. 24 to 6 is your final score as 5 straight boosts. Continue to 5 straight and boost, although this list did not feature a single
I
opportunity.
do think he should be disqualified for that.
I think that's fair. I think Chorney should be awarded the easy dub because of
Yeah, there was no 5 straight boosting there. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know. That's pretty mid.